Rolling.
Great. Well, thank you, Reverend Alonzo Vance. It's our absolute pleasure and honor to be here this morning. We're truly humbled to be able to participate here for the NAACP's annual convention, albeit remote, to share our story and our commitment towards the Million Jobs campaign. Today, I'm here with Alan Lazowski, Chairman, Founder, and CEO of Laz Parking, who will really lead us through an inspirational dialogue this morning. We hope for it to be very interactive, and really, hope to bring a call to action to those that are on the call today to contribute towards our achieving our goals associated with the Million Jobs initiative that really was established and piloted nearly a year or so, about a year and a half ago here in the Connecticut area. Before I turn it over to Alan, I thought I'd provide just a high-level overview of what the Million Jobs campaign initiative is all about. And I know you gave a good introduction, Bill. But for those of you that aren't familiar with the Million Jobs campaign, it really is a grassroots campaign nationwide to land jobs for 1 million formerly incarcerated citizens here in the United States by creating jobs, creating a pipeline of talent for employers, and overcoming the stigma that's associated with employing the formerly incarcerated, and ultimately to call upon our corporate partners in Indiana to establish themselves as second chance employers. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Alan Lazowski, our keynote for this morning, founder, chairman, and CEO of Laz Parking.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a true honor, a gift, and a blessing for me to be with you this morning. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Barbara. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. Eric, it's a pleasure to do this with you. You're one of the great Laz leaders and in charge of people and culture, and you're just an amazing individual. And I know how much this mission is so important to you. So thank you for doing this, and thank you for being part of the Laz family. As Eric shared, my name is Alan Lazowski. I was the first valet parker at Laz Parking. I happened to start the business when I was 20 years old and going into my senior year at University of Connecticut. And I started the business with my childhood best friends from 9 years old and 12 years old. And I'm just so honored to say that 40 years later, Laz is the second largest parking company in the United States from very humble beginnings. And we have 3,300 parking garages and lots in 35 states and 420 cities, and 1.3 million parking spaces that we either own, lease, or manage. And 15,000 pre-COVID, I should say, 15,000 amazing people that work with us. And what I'm most proud of, besides the people that work with us, is 40 years later, I'm still best friends and partners with my childhood best friend. So there's a lot to be thankful for in our organization. We believe in being a conscious capitalist company. We believe in elevating humanity through business. And when we have an opportunity to help somebody in need, our mission statement is creating opportunities for our employees and value for our clients. And giving back to the community and giving to charity and helping others is the tentacle of what makes everything work and a big part of our success, because I believe when you give, you get a lot more in return. And part of that is the fact that I've been honored to be appointed by President Obama to the Holocaust Museum Board. I've been honored to be part of the National Anti-Defamation League, a civil rights organization board, the ADL, and most honored to be involved with the NAACP Connecticut chapter for the past over 25 years, and to serve with my dear friend Barbara Bowling Williams on the national board, as well as on her criminal justice committee as her leader. And Barbara, I just want to start by having everyone turn their mute off on their mic and give you a big round of applause and a big thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan. Not necessary, but thank you so much. And again, thank you both for being here to support and share your vision and your knowledge with us. And certainly, I'm grateful to President Vance for leading this charge here in Indiana. This is kind of like a new thing for him, and he has just done an amazing job, which is why I appointed him, because I knew that he was more than capable with that military background that he has. And so thank you so much again.
Thank you. And thank you, President Vance. So a lot of people ask me, why is this so important to you? Why is this mission so important to Laz? Why is creating opportunities for people and helping others and putting your hand out in the time of need for people so important? Why do you believe in second chances? Why do you believe in helping reform citizens and returning citizens? And I really have to go to my family upbringing to share this with you first before we get into more detail. And I will tell you that both my parents are Holocaust survivors. And my dad, at 90 years old, is still alive. My mom is 85. My dad is the greatest spiritual leader in the Hartford community where I live for the past 65 years. He's chaplain of the state Senate at the state capitol. He's chaplain of the Hartford healthcare system. He's chaplain of the Hartford Police for 55 years. He's rabbi emeritus of 2 congregations. He has just finishing writing his 16th book called What the Years Have Taught Me, his legacy book. And I'd like to offer everyone, as it comes out, a copy of that, Barbara. So when that comes out, I'd love to share that book with you, with the people here. And I'd like to share his first book that he wrote called Faith and Destiny. And that book is the story of his survival of the Holocaust. And I just want to share a bit of that with you because you'll get the understanding of what's in our NDNA. So my father was born in a small village in Poland in 1930. I've been back there 3 times. It's now part of White Russia, Belarus. Beautiful fields and streams, stone houses, thatch roofs. His father was a fisherman that had 10-kilometer lease on the river. His mother was a businesswoman. There were 2,000 people in this village. Half were Jewish and half were Polish. He was the oldest child. He had 3 brothers and a sister. And in 1941, when he was 11 years old, the Nazis came into his village, burnt down his house, gathered all the Jews they could find, took the rabbi of his town and 35 others and made them wash their horses, drink the dirty water till they all vomited, cut their beards, made them dig their own graves, and killed those 36 people in front of everyone. He was then forced to a Jewish ghetto from his town 20 kilometers away to walk with the shirt on his back. And he was forced to live in 4 blocks of barbed wire in 1 room with his parents doing slave labor in the ghetto called ghetto. And the Nazis would give you a certificate if you were a doctor, a nurse, a laborer, somebody that could work for them. They would keep you alive, but they would come into the ghetto unannounced, and they would have selections where they gather everybody they could find and point left and right. If you had a family member that had the certificate to work for them, you would go to the line to live. But if they found a young kid or an old person, they'd send you to the line to die, and built these mass graves and killed 2,000 or 3,000 people at a time. Well, in 1942, when my dad was 12, he was in this ghetto, and a selection came in unannounced, and he got forced alone into this marketplace. And he sees he's in the middle of this horrific scene where Nazis are taking little babies out of mothers' arms, killing them with their bayonets, throwing them like footballs, beating people, shooting people. And he's in this horrific scene, and he sees the pointing left and right. And he realizes at 12 years old that he's going to go to the line to die, to the mass graves, to be shot, unless he starts asking people with these certificates to pretend that he was their son. So he goes to people that he knows from his village, and he said in this line, and he says, "Will you take me as your son?" But they're all afraid of their lives and their kids. It's written on the paper, your children, so it's a real risk. So they're saying no, and he's getting shoved to the top of the line. "Will you take me? Will you take me?" He starts asking other people, no, no, no. Right before he gets to the top of the line, he asks one last beautiful woman that he never met before. She happened to have a nursing certificate in her hand, and she had two little beautiful girls with her. One was 7 and the other girl was 5. And she looked at him and she said, "If they're going to let me live with my 2 young girls, they'll let me live with 3. Hold my hand." He held her hand on one side, the 7 and the 5-year-old woman on the other. They got to the top of the line. The Nazis started looking at her papers, and her husband was in the line to live already with his paper, and he started yelling, "My wife, my kids." There was confusion. They shoved him to the line to live, and she saved his life. After that, he never saw that woman after that again. His mother got killed, 2 brothers and a sister got killed, and miraculously, he escaped into the woods and found his father and 1 brother, and they lived in the woods for 2.5 years. Starvation, disease, 40 degrees below zero in caves, partisan fighting. 80% of the people that went into those woods did not survive. He came out like a skeleton. At 15 years old, he went to Austria to a displaced persons camp. And in 1947, he was fortunate enough to get sponsored by a distant relative to come to the United States, to come to Brooklyn, New York. He came to Brooklyn, New York, 17 years old, no money, 10 jobs, started becoming religious as part of his experience, and started studying to become a teacher and a rabbi. Brooklyn High School, he graduated high school in 1 year. Brooklyn College, Yeshiva University. Now he's 23 years old, and he's almost a rabbi, and he goes to a wedding of some survivors of his town in Brooklyn, New York. And he's sitting at the wedding table, and there's a beautiful girl at the table telling everybody a story about friends of hers from Hartford, Connecticut, that saved a little boy from our town in a selection line. And he's sitting at this table and he cries out, "I'm that boy, where are these people?" 3 weeks later, he goes up to Hartford to meet the nurse that saved his life, and ends up marrying my mother, who was the 7-year-old girl in that selection line. So my grandmother saved my father's life before they even knew each other. And that's why we believe that so strongly that anything is possible in life, that you never ever give up, that miracles happen. And when you have a chance to bring your humanity to the moment, when you have a chance to help somebody in need, to put your hand out and help somebody, you do it. And that's what LAS is about. That's part of our DNA. That's part of our culture. And when we had an opportunity in our business some 20 years ago to meet a young gentleman in Hartford who was trying to find his way, and he gives us permission to tell this story. His name is Will Cordera. Will Cordera came to us over 20 years ago and said, listen, I'm a drug dealer in Hartford. I'm either going to go to jail or I'm going to get killed. I should be in jail already for what I've done, but I haven't been caught, and I want to change my ways. And we hired him. We gave him a chance. He became an attendant. He became a supervisor. He became a manager. Now he's one of LAS's key leaders in Hartford. He oversees and started our Second Chance program. He's a preacher and a leader in the community and a mentor to everyone. So we now have over 200 people in Connecticut that are formerly incarcerated working for LAS under that leadership and that team. And you know, it's such an honor and a privilege because those people, our employees, those returning citizens, become the most loyal, dedicated LAS people that we have. And just pre-COVID, we had every year we have the LAS family reunion, and we had it in February pre-COVID, where we had hundreds of our leaders from around the country congregate in Hartford. We did it in Hartford this year, and it was really a tremendous celebration of LAS success. And we had a panel discussion of that Eric led and Will led and our people in culture department led, with 8 of our formerly incarcerated leaders telling their stories. There wasn't a dry eye in the house, and every single leader from every single city said, how do I get involved? How do I make this happen? I'm all in. And so people know this, but I'll just repeat this. If someone has a job when they come out of prison, less than 15% of those people go back to jail. However, if there's no job when you come out, more than 60% of those individuals are going back in. We must create job training programs when people are still in prison. We must go into the prison system 3 to 6 months before they get out, interview, hire, make a recommendation so that when you come out, you have a place to come to. We're involved with the Cheshire Correctional Institution in Connecticut. It's the TRUE program. It's one of the best programs in the country. What they've done in Connecticut is taken lifers and that have changed their ways in prison to mentor the 18 to 25-year-old population, all living and working together. And they're really teaching them life skills and reminding them that they were once them, they had a chance, they didn't follow the right path, and look where they are today. But they're doing this to help the 18 to 25-year-old population realize you're gonna get out, you still have a chance, and you still, you gotta do the right thing and find the right way. And we're involved in that program, and some great Connecticut companies are involved in that program. And we have an amazing leader in Connecticut who is our president and the head of the Criminal Justice Committee, Scott Esdale, who is really on the forefront of all this. He's been an NAACP leader for over 30 years, and he's an amazing individual. And it's an honor for Barbara and I to serve with him. And he really was in the forefront of helping this happen. So I just want to tell you that to me, life is about second chances. Life is about creating opportunities to help people grow and succeed. We all have an opportunity to disrupt the system, to strengthen our community, to change people's lives. And when we change people's lives, we'll be changing them for generations to come. I'd like to ask everybody here to join us and join me on that journey. And we can all make the world a better place to work together with. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Eric, who can talk a little bit more about some of the details, and we can open it up for some discussion. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Alan. It's always difficult to follow your story because it seems whatever I may say may not be nearly as important. So thank you for sharing that story. And I think there are many, many others, probably some that are participating on this call this morning that have stories that they could share for why this initiative is so critical to our nation right now. We certainly encourage questions, and I believe everybody in attendance today has the ability to type in questions. Should there be specific questions we don't answer for you that are on your minds, we're here to happy to answer whatever it might be that we could be helpful to you on as you leave today and move forward. And certainly both Barbara and Bill have my contact information, and I would be happy to be a direct line to each of you following this call. What I thought we would do is, maybe just provide some key takeaways for you. Some of the things that we've done to be able to get support in our local communities, support to be able to really drive the Million Jobs campaign in the greater Hartford area and in the larger communities in which we serve and operate nationally. As you heard Alan share, we encouraged all of our leaders following our annual reunion this year in February to go back to their communities across Laz Nation, as we call it, to partner with their local communities, their local leadership, their state leaders, the aldermen in their communities to gain support for this initiative and to meet ultimately with other business owners to encourage change and get them aligned with this important initiative in our nation today. You heard Al share about our partnership with the Department of Corrections and specifically the Cheshire Institute that has championed this program. And I'd really encourage you to Google it. If you were to Google Connecticut Criminal Reform True Program and learn a lot more about that program, but it really is an inspiring program that was piloted in Connecticut. There's been some tremendous success that we as an organization and employer have been able to participate in and reap the true benefits of. True stands for truthfulness to oneself and others, respectfulness towards our communities, understanding ourselves and what brought us here, and elevating into success. And this program is provided to, again, those in the 18 to 25-year-old population that will be discharged within 6 to 12 months and really provides them with not only job readiness skills, but life skills that they'll need to be able to support themselves when they get out. How will they budget their finances and support themselves without going back to their old ways? To date, we have hired over 20 and approaching 30 graduates of that program that already had opportunities created for them when they were released from prison. And we hope that that number just continues to spiral upwards. And we really are proud to be part of that program. While that program may be unique, every state Department of Corrections has programs that are designed to assist those that will be released. It's critical that you become part of that. It's critical that you offer your support to those programs. It's critical that you become ingrained in that culture and become change agents and participate in the assistance of those programs, recognizing that many have had funding cut, and it really requires the leaders in the communities to champion those programs, participate, and ultimately reap the rewards of them and provide good to those that have been incarcerated. You know, it's really important that as you go out and talk to employers in the community, that they have support structures, that they're committed to this, and they're not willing to let one bad apple ruin it for everybody else. The state of Indiana has some great employers, some great services that are already ingrained in this. There is a company called Recycle Force based in Indianapolis that has hired hundreds of formerly incarcerated. And the president and CEO of that company is committed to this and could provide and be a lifeline to many of you on this call as a local leader that's committed to this, as an employer committed to second chance programs. And then besides the corrections system, there are many non-for-profit agencies within every state that assist those with blemish records and provide career readiness skills and offer support to employees. There's a great program in the state of Indiana. Many of you have probably heard of it, called PACE. It stands for Public Advocates and Community Reentry Programs. And their purpose is to provide, similar to what the TRUE program does in the state of Connecticut, life skills. And they have certain requirements that they require of those that have been released from prison to complete before they will advocate directly to employers on their behalf for employment opportunities. There are some great statistics out there for why this is important. Aside from our commitment to conscious capitalism, there is such a need as the percentage of those in communities become incarcerated. That number is growing at a rate that's higher in the state of Indiana than what the nation is seeing. And so it's more important, even in your own local community here in Indiana, that we become committed to this and we support one another towards providing opportunities for all. So we've been honored. I know we've done a lot of talking and provided probably a lot of information, but really would like to open it up to any questions that we can answer for you today as you leave this session.
Okay,
So I
it
see,
it looks like a lot of the questions have been answered via chat, but here's one. Is the age limit to up to 25 years old, or can inmates older than that apply?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's
Anybody.
a great question. Alan answered it. Absolutely. The program in the state of Connecticut, that's the TRUE program that the Department of Corrections was piloting, specifically focused on those between the ages of 18 and 25. We've employed, over 100 and likely 200 out of the 300 we have in our system that are over the age of 25.
Okay, I think you went over this while I was typing. What small business opportunities do you have? I mean, do you have small businesses that contract with your, for parking lot maintenance, for the.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd love to address that. Thank you for asking that. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And one of the things I love is the entrepreneurial spirit. And we are extremely interested in mentoring and helping people and their businesses. We do it all the time. And so, you know, when you talk about being a conscious capitalist company, as we are, it's about elevating humanity through business. That means you need to take care of all your stakeholders, your employees, your vendors, the community you're in, and the environment that you serve. And when you take care of your vendors, that really means partnering with your vendors to make sure that they can do business the right way, have a good deal with them, and make it a win-win opportunity. And so we have hundreds and thousands of partners in vendors throughout the nation where we do business, and in all sorts of ways, from, you know, maintenance to construction to technology, to driving, to shuttle, to, you know, all sorts of services, insurance, that we work with third-party people. But one thing in particular that we've been working on, Reverend, is the idea of, as people come out of the prison system, I wanted to help encourage them to start their own business in vehicle services in our garages, of doing, having their own business around car washing, detailing, and owning their own small business, and mentoring people and giving them an opportunity like that. So that's one thing that we're talking to Cheshire about, is part of training to be ready to do something like that. And but that's a great question. And it's not just coming for a job, it's also creating opportunities for people to create their own businesses as well, which would be fantastic.
See, there's one other question. Let me see. What do you know, I really enjoyed your presentation, and it's amazing to see, to listen to individuals that have been through a lot and made it through it, you know, and that's, you know, it's just, you know, it's all inspiring to listen to it, that your father even made it through those things. So I see that you are great. Your father and you seem to be a advocate of human rights, and you know that's important, because you know we all experience some bias, some hatred. I've been in environments where, you know, even Caucasians have experienced some hatred. So I appreciate your stance on human rights in general, because you know this country stands for liberty and justice for all. So I appreciate what you're doing for everybody.
President Vance, if I can also assist you with some of the questions in the chat. I see one that says, do you find mental health issues a problem that must be considered among the population?
I'll answer that, and then Eric, if you wouldn't mind chiming in as well. I think it's a very important question, and thank you very much for asking that, because, you know, it takes a village to make this happen. It's not just us giving somebody a job. You need mentorship, you need counseling, you need people to stay with us. Mental health is a very big issue, and we focus on that and spend a lot of time getting people the right counseling and getting into the right programs, because, you know, life experiences sometimes, you know, cause issues, and mental health is something that, you know, is part of issues that need to be solved. And you cannot do this. It's not one aspect or one avenue. It's not just the employer. You need to work as a community to have all the resources and mentorship somebody be successful. Housing, transportation, mental health, job creation, all this works together to make it work. Eric, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you covered it perfectly. I think, the only thing I'd add is that, they are our, the most important thing is having this internal mentorship program and or being connected with those that they're living in. They may be in transitional housing, halfway homes, and making sure that there's really kind of three-way communication between your employee, that you're supporting them, that there's early identification of potential mental health issues that need to be solved for, partnering with the state-funded employee assistance programs that offer free mental health counseling and care. And of course, obviously, for those employers that have programs, most employers that are going to be focused on second chance programs will have an internal employee assistance program that should require for a degree of free mental health counseling and care.
Thank you.
There was another question in the chat that asked, how can we purchase your books? Or your products?
So the Faith and Destiny book I have right here. And Barbara, I would like to, if you could organize getting the list from anyone that wants the book, I want to send out a free autographed copy to everyone. My dad will autograph this book and send it out. It would be our gift to you to send it out to everybody. And I don't know if you guys could see this, but here's a little picture of my dad who just turned 90.
Wow, amazing. I'm going to ask all of the participants if you would enter your name and email in the
address,
chat.
but they should give the address of where to send it to.
Okay, yeah, you can let me know where to send it. You can text that to us later. But if you're interested, please enter your address in the chat, and then we will follow up with Alan later, Alan and Eric later. Wow. Okay. I'm seeing people commenting, responding to that question. So let me ask you this question, Alan. It's a relatively new campaign with the NAACP, the Million Jobs Campaign. How long had you been involved in offering assistance to formerly incarcerated people, men and women?
Just over 20, probably about 25 years. We've always believed in that. We had not gone to a formal program the way we have it now until really we started talking with Scott and really getting involved in the TRUE program. Eric, how long would you say we've been involved in the TRUE program? Is it about 2 years now?
About 2 years now, the TRUE program's been in existence. So we've been a partner with that from the early onset. Some of our most tenured employees, quite honestly, are those that have spanned the years. There's a much higher retention rate when you've got the right resources internally for employing those with blemished records.
Certainly, you are to be commended for your efforts in this area. We know how difficult it is for people who have records to be able to get employment, and we certainly have continued to be involved with banning the box, here within the state of Indiana. And the governor about 2-3 years ago, actually, he stopped short. There was a bill passed in our legislature to ban the box with all employers. So that didn't pass, but what the governor did was he issued an executive order banning the box for all state hires. So, we were grateful for that, and we continue to push, and educate other employers about the importance of considering people, the person who that is, and not their paper or their record. Really interview people.
Hey, Eric, I have a question and a thought to throw out. we must have some locations in Indianapolis, correct?
We
Yeah, we
do.
do.
Okay, so why don't we make a pledge right here today that we work with a team in Indianapolis to be able to hire some formerly incarcerated and use the Reverend Bill's help to make that happen.
You've got my word. I'll make it
All
happen.
right.
What do you say,
Sounds
Reverend?
good. Sounds great.
All right,
Sounds
so
like a-
we're making deals. We're making it happen right now. We're making history.
All right. Well, I guess, Eric, you'll be in contact with me, or?
Indeed, I will.
Yes, sir. All right.
Let's do it. Let's all work together and make it happen, and encourage this, and get other corporations to encourage, and we can lead by example. And you know, when COVID lifts, we'll have an event in Indianapolis and raise some money towards this.
That's exactly what I was hoping for. Thank you so much. And what this sounds like to me is a resolution that will come out of this webinar that will go to the delegates on tomorrow, sort of mandating, you know, with our branches around the state, that they start to contact companies in their communities, and that we start this campaign the way it should be. And that's exactly what we had hoped for by inviting you gentlemen to do this webinar for us. It's
Well,
exactly.
I was reading your mind, Barbara, because I know you're a great leader and a great thought leader.
You
All right.
were.
There is
were.
a question. There's one other question here that someone really wants answered. I live in Terre Haute, Indiana. Great number of executions occurring at the federal prison. I believe all life is sacred, and I believe in redemption and second chances. Please respond. And she does give her name, Crystal Reynolds.
Amen.
We couldn't agree more with you, Crystal.
Let's see. We're trying to scroll through the chats to see if there are other questions that we need to bring forward to you.
Also, I see another comment. Barbara, we need to work with Crystal Radcliffe and the Second Chance Group in Indy. So I'm going to go ahead and hand off to Crystal, because I'm here in Bloomington, Indiana. And Crystal is the president there in Indianapolis. She's the NAACP branch president there. So I'm going to go ahead and hand off to her, but I will help if she needs it. I will participate if she needs it.
Well, you got to stay on as the chairman.
Okay, well, that's true. Okay. Praise the Lord. Praise. I didn't want to get out of anything.
All right.
I see that we have about 9 minutes left. If anybody wants to, wants to make any kind of closing statements, they can. And we also remind people that they can still put their questions in the chat. But the technicians remind me that we have a hard stop at 11 o'clock. So want to give everybody a chance to give their closing remarks.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for participating. Again, it was awesome to hear what your father went through. You know, it's how you survive something like that. You know, only God can bring you through that. And it's a blessing that your father's here and that he inspired you so. And we thank Eric for communicating with me and setting up everything so that you could be on this in this convention with us. Again, we thank you. And the NAACP, as I understand it, we had 8 founders, and 2 of them were African American, and the rest were Caucasian and Jew. So it takes, as you said, it takes a village to make this, to really make a difference.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. I just want to say that it's been a gift and a blessing for us to be here today, because as we share our thoughts and our feelings, we hope that inspires others to do more and to make a difference in people's lives. And we're here to help. Barbara, I can't thank you enough for your leadership and being on the board with you and being on the Criminal Justice Committee serving with you is my pleasure and honor. And I really think that if we come out of here inspired and ignite the whole state of Indiana to make a difference in criminal justice reform and create jobs and opportunities, we'll have achieved a great gift and helping change people's lives. And so together we can move forward and do great things. So I really appreciate the opportunity. Eric, thank you for setting this up and working with the Reverend, and Barbara, thank you for thinking about us and asking us to do this.
You're muted.
Oh, I think you're muted, Barbara.
Thank you so much, Alan. No, we really appreciate you. And this just kind of demonstrates that on the board, the relationships that are formed around that board table are done so not to help individuals, but to help the people who we represent as members of that board. And your true spirit is, just shines through. Eric, did you have some closing statements you wanted to make? And I will remind the people that someone said that they had their hand raised. We can't see your hands. The only way that you can communicate with us is through the chat. That's the only way we can get your questions and know it's not that we're ignoring you, but we can't see you. So you have to enter it in the chat. Eric?
No, I echo Al's closing statements, and it's when you listen to Al's story, the story of his father, the rabbi, the power that one individual can have in creating change and movement towards the greater good is so important. And we hope that you all leave this call today and this session today knowing that you as an individual can create change and movement towards making a greater change towards the Million Jobs campaign.
I'm going to give certainly President Vance the last comment, but Alan, I'm telling you, you have inspired them so that people are like, okay, we're grateful and we're happy that you're going to give our book, give the books to us to sign, but they still want to know, then where can they still get the first book?
No, this book is the first book. It's called Faith and Destiny. Okay. That is the book, the first book. The new book is not out yet.
Okay.
What the years have taught me, but this is the book that I told you the story on of the Holocaust survival. So that's the book that people should read first, and then we'll take it from there. It's going to probably be about 6 months before the next book is out.
You see, you got a fan base already.
All right.
Tell your father he has a fan base already.
He does, and he loves it.
Okay. So at this point, you have 4 minutes. President Vance, thank you so much, President Vance, for getting this together for us. We're really grateful to you. I'm not going to take up your time to be thanking you. I want to give you your chance to do your last 3 minutes to wrap up.
Well, I want to thank Barbara. I want to thank you for I am a branch president here in Monroe County in Indiana. And I was wanting to serve on a committee because if I ever do not get elected as branch president, I can always serve on this committee and always have a voice on the state level. And my wife is also a committee chair, education chair. So she gave me this opportunity on labor and industry. And, I'm really thankful for it. And this first assignment here has been a great one. And I want you gentlemen to know that I appreciate you coming out. And I also appreciate the leadership of President Barbara Bowling Williams and the direction that we're going in Indiana. And again, thank you, and I look forward to adding your book to my library. I think it's gonna be an inspiration as a minister to let me know that God can, God can fix it after a while, and that the power of love is the greatest power of them all, and you can work miracles when that love is in your heart. So I thank you, Barbara, and thank you, Mr. Laskowski, and thank you, Mr. Daigle.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Barbara, you're muted.
Barbara, I think you're muted. Barbara, you're
She
muted.
must be on another.
Got it. There I go. No, I'm not. Okay, yeah. So again, okay. Just want to remind you to the delegates that you're going to need to log out of this webinar and log back into any other webinars that are taking place at this next hour. But it's not going to continue, meaning that it'll just the new people will come in. That won't happen. You have to log in and use your link to come back into whichever webinar will be taking place at this next hour. And the two webinars that are available at the new hour are the Veterans Health and Welfare, and Now That the Election is Over, What's Next with Hillary Shelton.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day, gentlemen.
Take care.
Giving up your
Bye-bye.
Saturday, your Sabbath. Thank you.
Hope to see you soon, Barbara.
I hope to see you soon too. Hope to be with you soon.
I know. God
Be
bless.
everybody.
God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you both. Have a great day.